Hello, everybody. My name is Cameron Earl, and today I am here fairly early, um, talking about the next Villainous expansion, which is going to be Star Wars Villainous, Scum, and Villainy. Now, I'm not sick, I'm just really tired. But yeah, the first Star Wars expansion got announced a while back, and I finally have it. I have played it. I actually got it right before I went on vacation, and on vacation I played a couple games. I didn't get time to do an unboxing though, because I kind of just wanted to play the games, and I pretty much had to squeeze those games in as fast as possible. And I'm wearing my Mandalorian shirt because Boba Fett is a Mandalorian. So we're gonna just talk about what this box is. So the villains that come in the box are Boba Fett, Cad Bane, and the Seventh Sister. Now, Boba Fett is from a handful of things. He appears as a kid in the Clone Wars and Attack of the Clones. He had his own Christmas special, had his own show. He's a frequent in the original Star Wars trilogy, and he's one of the most famous Star Wars characters out there. Cad Bane has appeared in the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch. She is, in my opinion, one of the best characters to come out of that show. He was also in Book of Boba Fett, but we're not going to talk about that show because that show was terrible. And the Seventh Sister was the villain of Star Wars Rebels Season 2. So if you haven't watched Star Wars Rebels, you're probably not gonna know her at all. And of course, the back of the box just says your normal things. It talks about says you can meet your destiny as Star Wars Boba Fett, Seventh Sister, Cad Bane, and you can choose your villain, control your sector, fulfill your destiny. It's for ages 10 and up. It's 2 to 4 players. It's about 20 minutes per player, most of the time. You can play this game on its own or mix and match with the villains from the other Star Wars Villainous titles. And this is the Target exclusive sleeve. He's disintegrating some metal. But if we proceed to take this sleeve off, it is now a beautiful Tatooine-esque scenery behind Boba Fett. This is definitely a very different box than what we usually get. But with all that out of the way, let's get the box open. Okay, so once again, the instruction book is the same color as the box. They started doing that in the more recent sets. No villain on the back of the instructions though. Contents are 3 villain movers, 3 sectors, 90 villain cards, 45 fate cards, 75 tokens, 3 reference cards, 3 villain guides, and instructions. Now, I have played every character, so I haven't really found the best strategy for them. But I do know which ones I like and which ones I don't like. Let me just start off by saying this is a really solid set, definitely compared to the original Star Wars Villainous, because the original Star Wars Villainous I wasn't the biggest fan of, because I really only like playing Moff Gideon, or not Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon's that middle character. I don't like playing Asajj or Kylo at all. I do like playing Grievous and Darth Vader, however, they are my 2 favorites in that set. But they're pretty much the only ones that I like playing. So we're going to start off in order of villain mover from bottom to top. So we're starting off with the 9th Sister here. And this is the 9th Sister from Star Wars Rebels. And her line is, "I only need you alive. That doesn't mean in one piece." Her goal is to remove 3 rebels from the game. Now I'm filming this from the opposite side of my camera, so I really hope you can see this. So remove 3 rebels from the game. That doesn't only mean vanquishing them, there's a specific way she has to do it. So I'm going to get out her villain guide here. And we're just going to read it along. Now, obviously, when you look at the reference card, the activate action is still there. But no character, even in this set, has the activate action yet. Okay, let's get out her villain guide. Boom. So, how she removed... So, the Ninth Sister... or I want the Ninth Sister so bad for Star Wars Villainous. So, the Seventh Sister is an Inquisitor, one of those chosen to hunt down and destroy the Jedi. But any Force wielder or rebel in opposition to the Empire, with an almost pathological hatred, Seventh Sister targets Ahsoka Tano, Kanan Jarrus, and Ezra Bridger. To achieve her goal, Seventh Sister must not only defeat those three heroes, but she must remove them from the game by paying a set amount of ambition at the time of defeat. Once all three are removed from the game, the Seventh Sister is the winner. Now, I'm going to hold this guy up like this. Hopefully you can see the whole thing. And you can read it. But yeah, so the Seventh Sister has a lot of ambition cards, which was my worry with the character, because I was worried that she might only have cards to play with ambition, and that is kind of the case, but it's not as bad as Kylo Ren, where she only has like a few cards that she could play. But yeah, let's get down to her fate cards first. So the first fate card I have here is the classic Rebel ship, the Ghost. A hero vehicle. When the Ghost is played, if more than one hero is in Seven Sisters sector, remove one ally. She really needs those. Okay, we have Teamwork. It's an effect. Seven Sister loses one ambition for every hero in play in her sector. That could potentially be really bad, but it's not the worst thing ever, because a lot of the time Seven Sister will be probably killing those heroes immediately. And there seems to only be one copy of that Teamwork card. Okay, here we have one of our three Jedi we have to remove from the game. We got Kanan Jarrus. He is a 4-strength hero. All allies at Kanan Jarrus' location lose 1 strength. You can pay 6 ambition after defeating Kanan Jarrus to remove from the game. So very high cost in ambition. There are good ways to get ambition, but she will be starved the whole game. I have found that out. Now I have her next ship here, the Phantom. And this is her second ship in her Fate deck. And I'm pretty sure there's only 2, yeah. When the Phantom is played, if there is more than one hero in Seven Sister Sector, place all but one hero in the Fate discard pile. So I say that the Phantom's ability is actually a lot worse for you than the Ghost, which is surprising because the Ghost is their ship. Okay, we have another effect card, Disarmed. Choose 2 random cards from the Seven Sisters' hand, discard them, so that could either, help her speed up the process of getting cards she doesn't want out of her hand, or totally ruin her. Like, I was playing the game with her last night, or not last night, 2 nights ago, and, she had to remove Darth Vader from her hand, and Darth Vader is a really good card. Yeah, spoilers, Darth Vader is an ally in her deck. Where is he in here? No clue. Okay, next we have our next hero. She is a 3-strength hero and the pilot of the Ghost. That is Hera Syndulla. When she is played, or while Hera Syndulla is in play, the cost to play cards that cost credits is increased by 1. Okay, we have our next Jedi coming up here, and that is Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano is 5-strength. If the 7th Sister is in Ahsoka Tano's location, she cannot take any available actions. Pay 8 ambition after defeating Ahsoka Tano removed from game. So Ahsoka Tano is definitely, final boss level for the 9th Sister. Because not only can you not do anything while in her location, period, but you also have to pay a whopping 8 ambition. Okay, we have our next hero here, and that is Zeb Aurelius, one of my favorite characters to come out of the show. At least 2 allies must be used when performing a vanquish action to defeat Zeb Aurelius. He has 3 strength. I promise that is that. A lot of the time, especially if you have Agent Callus out on the board, one of your allies will be able to take him out. That was the same problem with Chewbacca and Darth Vader's deck. Okay, here we have our final Jedi, and that is Ezra Bridger. He is 3 strength. While Ezra Bridger is in play, the cost to play cards that cost ambition is increased by 1. Pay 5 ambition after defeating Ezra Bridger to remove him from the game. Okay, here we have our next effect card, and that is called You Are Beaten, with 2 copies. Choose a card type, look at the top 5 cards of Seven Sisters villain deck. Discard all cards of that chosen type, and put the rest back into a deck. Okay, we have another hero, and that is C1 1OP Chopper. All other heroes in Seven Sisters sector get +1 strength. Chopper only has 1 strength, though. I mean, he's a droid. And we have our last hero, which is Sabine Wren. No allies can be maneuvered to Sabine Wren's location, so you definitely don't want her at a location with any of the Jedi you need to kill. She has 3 strength. Okay, and finally we have her restriction, which is called Grounded. Once Grounded is played, move the Seventh Sister to Fortress Inquisitorius, which is her first location. We'll get the locations in a soon. Move Seventh Sister to Fortress Inquisitorius. Until Grounded is removed, only Seventh Sister can move to an adjacent location. Remove Grounded when she plays an ally or vehicle. So, pretty bad if you don't have, if you already have all your allies out. So, now we're going to get to our normal card deck, and the first card we have here is her generic Stormtroopers. They're 1 cost, 1 strength, but they may be played from your discard pile, so definitely consider that. And there are let's see here, I think there's 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 of them. 3 Stormtroopers total in her deck. Okay, here we have another ally for 1 strength. He is 1 cost and with 2 strength, and that is Admiral Cassius Constantine. His ability is for 0 ambition, remove 1 of your villain cards in play and gain ambition equal to its cost. Cannot be used on Darth Vader because Darth Vader costs 6 power to play. Okay, we have an effect card here. One of her best effect cards and one that I found to be very, very useful when playing her, and that is the 3 ambition cost Inquisitors. Now, it is a pretty costly 3 ambition, but it's really good because you can collect all allies in your discard pile, place 1 in your hand, and shuffle the rest into your villain deck. So here's the thing with the Ninth Sister. You're going to be chewing through your villain deck. You're going to have to learn that even if this card is really useful, if you can't play it right now, get rid of it. There are a lot of ways to get cards back from your discard pile, and this is the best one. Coming up on her next card in here is actually the ID9 Seeker Droids, by far her best card when it comes to completing her goal. You definitely want to use these guys in vanquish actions because you want to get them back and replay them, because these are your only ways to get heroes out on your board are your Seeker Droids. When they are 1 strength for 1 cost, when ID9 Seeker Droids are played, reveal fate cards until you reveal a hero. Play a hero Seven Sister location. Simple as that. That is the only card where you reveal heroes from top of your deck, I think. I've only played her once. And there are 3 of those in total. Or there might be 4, actually. No, there's 3 of them. There's only 3 of these, so yeah, Inquisitor is definitely going to help. 3, 1 for each Jedi, but you're not going to reveal a Jedi every time you play one unless you get really lucky. Okay, here we have another effect for 0 ambition. It is called Acrobatic Attack. Now this is another extremely good card, especially for late game when you need to conserve that ambition, when you're finally getting Ahsoka, Kanan, and Ezra out. And it doesn't cost any ambition. Take a vanquish action, reduce any ambition cost by 3, remove that character from the game. That is extremely good to use on Ahsoka. Yeah. The only problem is that 2 of her ambition actions are at the top of the board, so you definitely don't want any heroes placed in the middle. But you probably don't want any of them placed on Malachor either. But once again, we'll get to locations soon. Okay, and there are... I think there's 2 of those. Maybe 3. 2... Nah, there's only 2 of those. Okay. Okay, our next card here is the 1 cost 2 strength Agent Callus. And his ability is all other allies at Agent Callus's location gain +2 strength. So, yeah, like, if you have him in a location with the ID 9 Secret Droids, just one of them could one-shot Ezra Bridger. Okay, we have another effect here for 1 ambition cost, that is, I don't have time to waste. You may maneuver all heroes in your sector to a new location, play a -1 strength token on each hero that was maneuvered. Not the best card, but it can be useful in some instances, but when I played her, I did not play that card at all. And there are 2 copies of that card. Now, here we have a pretty useful card, and that is, it's never a fair fight. It is 0 ambition, but its ability is good. Take an ambition token from the supply and place it on a hero that can be removed from the game, so you can only use this card on Kanan, Ahsoka, or Ezra. This token counts towards that hero's cost to be removed from the game. So you place ambition on the hero, and when you vanquish them, then you keep that ambition there, and that counts towards their cost. And there's 1, 2, 3. There's 3 of those. So I'd say very good to use, especially on Ahsoka. Here we have our first condition, which is called Up Close and Personal. During their turn, if another player changes locations to a vehicle, you may play Up Close and Personal, choose 2 cards from your discard pile and put them in your hand. So a very good condition, but you just better hope that your villain moves to a vehicle. So don't play that. You probably won't be able to play that condition against me because I actually usually forget that vehicles exist. Okay, speaking of vehicles, we have her first villain vehicle here, and that is the 3 cost 5th Brothers TIE Advanced Prototype V1. And the 5th brother is an ally that's actually coming up next. Gain 1 ambition or draw 1 card is the ability, and the actions are discard, vanquish, and gain 1 power. Okay, so here we have the 5th brother. He is 3 cost in credits, and he is 4 strength, so pretty hefty guy. Pretty good for, killing heroes since he does have that 4 strength. And for his ability is for 1 ambition, you may maneuver any hero in your sector to a new location, place a -1 strength token on that hero. Now here's the thing, when I played her, I actually kept all my allies in the same location and placed the heroes there, and just, I didn't, maneuver any of them. Okay, here we have our next effect card, and that is for 3 ambition, New Opportunities. Discard an ally, play a hero from your free discard pile to Son of Sister's location. So in case someone fates you, and they find a Jedi, but they can play the other card, so they play the other card and discard the Jedi, you can get that back. Okay, here we have our next ally, and this is for 2 cost and 3 strength. It is the 8th brother, her other Inquisitor. When the 8th brother is used in a vanquish action, and after he is placed in the discard pile, draw 2 cards into your hand. So basically, you use him to kill somebody, he dies, and you gain 2 cards. Here we have her second vehicle, and that is for 3 cost, the 7th Sisters TIE Advanced Prototype V1. So we have the Inquisitors, TIE Fighters in here. Its ability is randomly take 3 cards from your discard pile and shuffle them into your villain deck. So good for early game if you use cards that you want back, but not so great for late game because it's like that Asajj Ventress thing where it's, random. So you don't know what you're going to get. The actions are Ambition, Discard, and Vanquish. I definitely like the other TIE Fighter more, but, Okay, here we have our final condition, and that is Stalking Her Bait, and there's 2 copies of those. During their turn, if another player takes a Vanquish action, you may play Stalking Your Bait, place 2 -1 strength tokens on any combination of heroes. Now that's a pretty good condition, especially for this set, because all 3 villains in this set have a lot to do with heroes. And we have our effect card, and that is simply called It's 0 ambition, and you gain 1 ambition for every fate card in play. In your sector, there's 2 of those, so, you know. And on to our final card, and that is the 6 cost, 6 strength Darth Vader. There he is, standing on top of his TIE fighter there. And his ability is really good, especially if you have Ahsoka or Kanan out. So for 0 ambition, you can gain ambition equal to the strength of the highest strength hero in your sector, then give Darth Vader a -1 strength token. Now you can use Darth Vader in vanquish actions. That's actually how she won the one game. I gained ambition equal to Kanan Jarrus' strength, put a -1 strength token on Darth Vader, but Darth Vader still had enough to defeat Kanan, so I just vanquished him and spent the ambition. And that is all for the Seven Sisters deck. Now let's get onto her board. So her first location is Fortress Inquisitorius, and on the top there is a maneuver and a play card, and at the bottom there is a vanquish and a fate. I didn't use this location that much because, as you've seen in her deck, most of her cards cost ambition, and this is the only location without an ambition action. Okay, next we have Bilzen, and this is probably one of her better locations. At the bottom there is gain 2 power and play card. At the top there is ambition and play card. Yeah, she could get 3 cards out of her hand. Next we have Garel City, which the top actions are vanquish and ambition. The bottom 2 are gain 2 power and discard. And her final location is Malachor. The top 2 actions are fate and gain 2. And the bottom ones are ambition and play a card. So yeah, that is her board. Pretty interesting board, all things considered. Now let's get on to her Villain Mover. Now her Villain Mover is definitely my least favorite in the set, but I've warmed up to it. So this is her Villain Mover. She is sitting on her double-bladed spinning Inquisitor lightsaber, and the rest of the piece is just her torso and her head with the I like to say the gnome hat that she's wearing. And yeah, that is pretty much all it for the Ninth Sister. We can move on to our next one. Well, yeah, first let me say what I think of the Ninth Sister. So the Ninth Sister, I've only played her once. Obviously the biggest problem with the Ninth Sister is that she needs a lot of ambition, and she relies very heavily on that ambition with her deck. It's kind of throwing her into the Kylo Ren category where she just needs too much ambition but she's gaining all these credits and she doesn't have enough to spend them on, but she does that better, and I think she's actually decently fun to play, but she's really hard to win with, especially needing all that ambition and getting heroes out, and you have to know how to discard things that you want to use even when you can't use them. So let's get on to our next character here, and that is going to be the Fearless Bounty Hunter Cad Bane. Okay. Get all of his stuff out. Now, Cad Bane has special tokens. These are called target tokens. These are what he needs to win. Cad Bane was the character I was most excited to play when this set came out. And I don't want to particularly say that he disappointed me, because he didn't. Like, he's fun, but I think he's a little too easy for my liking, especially compared to these two. Cad Bane is really easy to win with, because how Cad Bane gains a target token is he vanquishes a hero, but that hero is not discarded, it stays there. You just put a target token on that hero, and then he has to play a card called Now It's My Turn to get rid of him. But there's a lot of cards in his deck where he can either just straight up it just lets him place a target token on a hero, or there's even one card for 4 ambition that he just straight up gains a target token and removes a hero without one. I feel like he's just too easy, but he is still very fun to play. Probably my least favorite thing about Cad Bane is actually his line here, and it's "I'm afraid it's you that have been foolish." I feel like Cad Bane is such a quotable character in the show that there are a lot of better lines that you could go for him. So his goal is to collect 5 target tokens, and like I said, he does this by vanquishing heroes. The heroes are not discarded, however, they get a target token on them. He has to play a card called Now It's My Turn, which he has 6 copies of to gain that target token. Okay, so let's get on to his Fate deck here. And, well, first let me show you his villain guide, actually. So, his villain guide, okay. So, I'm just going to set this up here. You can pause the video and read it if you want to. I hope the things are big, the words are big enough so you can read them, but if you can't, there are some pictures online of villain guides that you can find for Cad Bane. But let's get on to his Fate deck, and here immediately we have a hero, and this is 3 strength, Ahsoka Tano. So another Ahsoka Tano card. We got like 4 of those now. When Ahsoka Tano is in play, all ambition costs +1. So she's probably about as annoying as she is in the first season of the show. Or was this in the second season? I don't know. At the beginning of the Clone Wars show, I love the Clone Wars show, but at the beginning of it, I hated Ahsoka. And most fans did because she was actually written to be that really unlikable, annoying character so she could grow. And now she is one of the best characters to come out of that show. Actually, I think she is probably the best. Especially the fans think so too. Because, like, even though the Clone Wars is about the Clone Wars, the show actually mostly revolves around Ahsoka. Okay, here we have our next hero, and this is probably the most annoying hero ability, and that is Obi-Wan Kenobi, my boy, my favorite Star Wars character, period. He has 6 strength. Now, when you get to Cad Bane's allies, you'll see that that's not the strongest thing ever, but it will take 2 allies to take Kenobi out. But at the start of Cad Bane's turn, remove a target token from Obi-Wan Kenobi. So that's the problem, because if there's a target token on Kenobi, like, you vanquish him and then you have to end your turn, the next turn is just removed. So Kenobi is the only hero in your Fate deck where you have to get rid of him the same turn you place a target token on him. So you have to make sure you have to be at Coruscant, because you have to have that vanquish action and the envision action if you want to do it the main way. Okay, here we have our first effect card, and let me find all the copies of this. Okay, there's only 2 copies of this, and it is called Hatless and Helpless. As we all know, Cad Bane wears that ridiculously sized hat that makes it iconic, and this ability is simply remove a target token from any hero. So, the best effect card against Cad Bane. There's not a lot to do against Cad Bane, actually. Okay, here we have our next hero. I wasn't actually expecting this guy to be in here, but he is, and that is Quinlan Voss. He only appeared in like 1 episode of the show, maybe 2, I forget. But Quinlan Voss gains +1 strength if there are no other heroes in his location. And he is 5 strength, so he could have 6 strength. Okay, here we have his next effect card, and there seems to only be 2 copies of this, and it is called Lost Bounty. And its ability is simply remove half of Cad Bane's credits round down or up to 3 ambition. So yeah, you definitely have to be, kind of careful with the cost. I'm going to save his restriction for last. We have our next hero, the 5 strength Mace Windu. So actually, Obi-Wan Kenobi has more strength than Mace Windu. I just realized that. Probably because Obi-Wan Kenobi is actually always more of a problem for Cad Bane than Mace Windu is. When Mace Windu is played, shuffle Cad Bane's Fate discard pile into his Fate deck. So that's the... Oh, Fate discard pile. I just realized I've been playing Mace Windu wrong. I've been thinking that it's Cad Bane's discard pile. I must have not been proofreading it enough. Okay, so that's my mistake. I've only played 2 games. The one game I wasn't playing is Cad Bane. Okay, here we have our next effect card, and that is also 2 copies. All of his effect cards only have 2 copies in his Fate deck, and that is Prisoner Bane. Look at the top 5 cards of Cad Bane's villain deck, show them to everybody but Cad Bane, place them back on top of the deck in any order. So, yeah, you look at them, show them to everybody at the table except whoever's playing Cad Bane, and you put them back down in any order you wish. That's some Marvel Villainous type stuff right there. Here we have his 2 ships up next. First one we have is the T6 shuttle. And when T6 shuttle is played, you may maneuver all heroes to new locations. So pretty good if the hero doesn't already have a target token on him. And our next one is the Resolute. And its ability is well engaged with the vehicle. Cad Bane cannot move to the engaged vehicle. So that's probably the better one, especially because one of Cad Bane's vehicles is actually really good. Okay, our next hero here is Padme Amidala. We finally have a Padme Amidala card. When Padme is played, you may move another hero to her location. Until Padme Amidala is defeated, all other heroes at her location get +2 strength, and she is 2 strength herself. Okay, we have our final hero here, and that is the 4 strength Anakin Skywalker. When Anakin Skywalker is played, remove an ally from Cad Bane's sector. So, yeah, if you need to use an ally for something, Anakin could just kill it, so, you know. And his final fate card is his restriction, and his restriction is fearing who you work for. While fearing who you work for is in play, Cad Bane cannot place target tokens. Remove fearing who you work for when Cad Bane plays an ally. So, pretty bad ability against Cad Bane, but he can get rid of the restriction fairly easily, like really easily. You're probably going to be playing most allies. You're probably going to end up playing all your allies during your time. Okay, our first card of his villain deck is the card he needs to win, and that is Now It's My Turn. And like I said, there is 6 whole copies of that card because I made sure to count because I proofread his deck. Boom. Okay. So Now It's My Turn is a 2 ambition cost effect card, and it simply just says you may defeat any hero with a target token on them. This is your main way of getting target tokens and how you're supposed to do it. But like I said, Cad Bane's really easy to win with in the fact that he has a lot of ways to not do that, or at least not have them vanquished. And this is probably the best one, and that is the 4 ambition cost new tricks. Remove a hero without a target token on them, collect a target token. Really powerful card. Luckily, there's only 1 copy of it. Okay, we have our first ally, and this is a guy that I actually forgot about. Even though he's from one of my favorite, he's actually from like probably my favorite arc in the whole Clone Wars series, and that is the 3 cost 2 strength Moralo Ebal. For 1 ambition, you may immediately put 1 ally from your hand into play for only 1 credit. So yeah, pretty good ability, actually. You can play allies essentially for a lot less cost than what they usually are. Okay, we have our next effect card, and that effect card has 3 copies. And it is called Watching and Planning. This is your usual way of getting heroes out on the board. It's 1 ambition cost, and it's look at the top 5 cards of your fate deck, place any hero found to a location with a hero, without a hero, discard the rest. We have our next card. I think there's only 2 copies of this card, but I could be mistaken. This effect card costs only 2 credits. Yeah, there's only 2 copies. It costs only 2 credits. It is Underworld rules. Gain 1 ambition plus 1 ambition per number of allies in play. So if you happen to be low on ambition, this is definitely the card for you. Okay. We have our condition here. 2 copies of it, which is that is not a clone trooper. During their turn, if another player plays an ally, you may play that as not a clone trooper. You may take any ally from your discard pile and put it in your hand. So I like that condition. It's a pretty good condition, especially if you end up vanquishing heroes a lot. Okay, we have his next ally here, the 3 cost, 4 strength, IG86. And his ability is when IG86 is used in a vanquish action, return him to your hand. So very good ability. However, he is a costly 3 power. And if I look at his board here, 2 locations he can only gain 1 power, 1 location he can gain 3, and then the other location he can only gain nothing. So Cad Bane might have more credit struggles than he does ambition struggles. Okay, here we have probably the best card in his deck other than now it's my turn and new tricks. And that is the 4 credit cost. Well, hello there. Can't do his voice. He has a very raspy voice. Choose a hero in your fate deck. Play the hero to any location in your sector and put a target token on it immediately. Reshuffle your fate deck. So, yeah. Here we have his next ally, which I didn't even know what this guy's name was. And it is the 1 power, 2 strength, Robonino. Heroes in Robonino's location get -1 strength. Very simple ability, but of course Robonino is not very powerful. Here we have probably one of Cad Bane's best allies, and that is the 3 power cost, 3 strength, Aura Sing. She can be used in a vanquish action against a hero in any location. So I like to play her to Coruscant, just so if like Padme Amidala is way over here, I'm like a sniper, and that's pretty much it. We have probably his best ally though, and that is Toto 360. For 1, he's 1 credit and he's 1 strength. And his ability is you may pay any amount of ambition with an ambition action to put that number of cards from the discard pile into your hand. So I'm pretty sure you can just choose what cards it is. Okay, here we have our next effect card, and there seems to be 3 copies of this. And this is, 3 cost and ambition, and that is Cad Bane is in charge, and you simply just place a target token out here. I said there's 3 of those, so you might not be vanquishing a lot of time. It's like I said, Cad Bane, I think he's just a little too easy for me to favorite him or like him that much. Okay, we have his first vehicle up next, and this is probably his best vehicle, and that is the 3 power cost, Xanadu Blood. Its ability is if you take the discard action that it has a discard, a play card, and an ambition action. If you take the discard action, you may replace those cards immediately. So yeah, very good for getting through your deck. Okay, our next card here is his other condition, and this is my favorite condition, probably to come out of this whole set, and that is triple my usual rates. During their turn, if another player collects credits, you may play triple my usual rates. You collect that many credits plus 1 ambition, so it only gives you 1 ambition, but like I said, you might have more credit struggles than you do ambition struggles. So I'd say very good condition, and there's 2 copies of those. Next we have his final vehicle, and that is the 3 power cost Justifier. You may maneuver an ally to a location with a hero. Very simple, especially since your only other maneuver action is at the top of your board at Borovio, along with the fate action, so your opponents might be trying to cover that up. And the ability, the actions are play card, fate, and gain 1 power. Okay, next we have the 3 power, 3 strength, Shahana Lama. Really hard name to say. Shahana Lama gets +1 strength when at the same location as another ally, so he can have 4 strength. And here we have his final ally, and that is the 5 power cost, 6 strength, Count Dooku. Heroes in Count Dooku's location cannot use their ability, so he's a great counter to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Just don't use him to vanquish Obi-Wan Kenobi, because then Obi-Wan Kenobi can use his ability again. I'm just going to check real quick how long this has been recording. because I'm not really wanting to make an hour-long video here. 39 minutes. Okay. I just realized that probably for the angle, the villain guides I've been putting up there are probably also too small. Let's get to his board, and that his first location is the usual Coruscant, you know, where the Jedi Temple is, where a lot of the Jedi hang out. And the top two actions are gain 1 power and ambition, and the bottom two are discard and vanquish. So, as far as seems, Cad Bane's board is actually pretty restricted on what he can do on his turn and what he can't. He can do what he needs to do, but a lot of the time he can't do them all in the same turn because his board is pretty restricted. Next we have his Black Stall Station. I think this is where he just hangs out, like where his villain portrait is. I don't know though. The abilities are, once again, probably his best location. It's very similar to the Knife Sisters location, which is gain 3, play a card, and at the top there's play a card and ambition. The only difference from the Knife Sisters location is that you have to change the 3 to a 2. The next is the box, once again, probably my favorite arc in the series. And the bottom two actions are gain 1 power and fate, and the top two are vanquish and discard. So I think probably his worst location is actually the box. But the box was essentially a death trap for him. And his final location is Boravio. The top two actions are fate and maneuver. The bottom two are ambition and play a card. However, Cad Bane probably has my favorite villain mover out of all of them, and this is his villain mover. So we got the cloak and we got the jacket. We have the breathing respirator tube thing around here. He also has a little angry face on him, but of course the best part of this figure is his obnoxious hat that he is wearing. So yeah, probably my favorite villain mover out of here. But let's get on to our final villain, the one that they said was probably. Oh, also he comes with 10 target tokens, which I don't see why he needs all those. But hey. Okay, so we finally are getting on to the villain that everybody was waiting for, the one that the developers said was the most requested villain in the galaxy, the guy who today is not really even a villain anymore, and that is Boba Fett. Let's move around, I'll show you the villain mover later. Okay, so Boba Fett, he's standing in the carbonite thing where they froze Han Solo, and his line is, "He's no good to me, dead." The very, very famous line, because of his 5, 6, 7 lines in the series. That one's probably the most famous. So his goal is to complete 4 bounties. Now, in my opinion, Boba Fett is like Asajj Ventress done right. But Boba Fett is kind of a mess. Let's say he's very messy. His board is going to be. Now this guy is a lot like Asajj Ventress, and like I said, I don't like playing Asajj Ventress, but I don't know what, something about this character, it's just better. I think his effect cards are a lot more helpful towards him than Asajj Ventress. Now, he is definitely my favorite to play in the set, but he is very hard to win with. Probably the hardest one to win with out of these 3, if not as the Knife Sister. But that's where I said my problems came out of Cad Bane, where these Boba Fett and the 7th Sister, I keep saying Knife Sister, Boba Fett and the 7th Sister are pretty hard to win with. Cad Bane is really easy to win with. Cad Bane is General Grievous easy to win with. Okay, so I'm going to put his villain guide up, and I'm just going to put this up to... Okay, so here's his villain guide. You can pause and read that if you want to. So complete 4 bounties. let's get into his fate cards first. So, his first fate card I have here is the effect called Becoming a Bounty. Now, the thing with Boba Fett is that he can move his bounty hunters to the top of the board. So, because a lot of his bounties involve him having to kill his own bounty hunters. He doesn't have allies, he has bounty hunters. And to show that they fight together sometimes, he does sometimes have to vanquish them. And that is actually a big part in the game, is that he does have to move his bounty hunters to the top of the board and vanquish them. So this card, called Becoming the Bounty, has 3 copies. And it is an effect card that says, maneuver all bounty hunters to the hero's side of the sector at their same location. If no bounty hunters are in play, remove up to 5 credits from Boba Fett. So, that could help Boba Fett, because he might have to kill him. But that's the problem, because if Boba Fett has all of his bounty hunters out, and all of them get moved, then he has no means of killing them except an effect card that we'll get to later. Here we have a fate card where the picture, I'm assuming, is from the Christmas special I've never seen because it's snowy. And that is the effect card named Empty-Handed. And tell me in the comments, is this from the Christmas special? Because I've never seen the Christmas special. I heard the Christmas special is actually pretty, terrible. It simply says, remove to the discard pile any one bounty with no progress tokens on it. So yeah, you remove the bounty, but if you have no progress on it, that could also be bad. Okay, here we have this first hero, and it is Lando Calrissian. We have another Lando card. I was about to say we finally have a Lando card, but I forgot that Darth Vader actually had one. He is only 2 strength, but his ability is Boba Fett's cost to play bounty hunters increased by 1 credit. Boba Fett really won't be helping or struggling with credits, I don't feel, especially if he gets bounties from Jabba the Hutt. So basically how Boba Fett gets his bounties is he has to play a contact. He has 3 contacts, Bib Fortuna, Jabba the Hutt, and Darth Vader. And he can attach up to 2 bounties to Jabba and Darth Vader, only 1 to Bib Fortuna. But they each give him something different. When he defeats him, Jabba gives Boba 5 credits, Darth Vader gives Boba 5 ambition, and Bib Fortuna, I think he gives him 1 ambition, 1 credit, and lets him draw 2 cards. I think that's Bib Fortuna. I know I'm jumping ahead here. Awards Boba Fett 2 credits, 1 ambition, and 2 cards when complete. So Bib Fortuna offers him a whole bunch of stuff. Jabba the Hutt and Darth Vader, however, bring the heft and the money, especially that ambition is probably going to help. Here we have our next hero, and that is the 5 strength Chewbacca. I don't like this picture. Chewbacca actually looks really derpy, if you can see the picture. When Chewbacca is played, all other heroes and bounty hunters on the hero side of the sector gain +1 strength. So yeah, that could hurt, but not too much. We have our next hero, R2-D2. And it is a 2 strength hero. When R2-D2 is defeated, shuffle the fate discard pile into the fate deck and play the top fate card. So that sucks. Okay, we're gonna save his restriction for later. Okay, we have our next hero, Luke Skywalker, 4 strength. This was before he had his lightsaber. You must defeat Luke Skywalker before defeating any other characters at his location. I mean, it might have been before he had his lightsaber. Here we have the Millennium Falcon. His first vehicle, actually his only fate vehicle, because he only has 1 vehicle on his board. When played, you may maneuver all heroes and bounty hunters on the hero side of the sector to new locations. Okay, here we have a actually pretty bad fate card, and that is C-3PO. He's only 1 strength, but he makes Boba Fett discard his whole hand and draw 3 cards. So C-3PO is pretty bad. Here we have our 2 strength hero, Leia Organa, Princess Leia here. When you play Leia Organa, draw the top fate card and play that card as well. And here we have our final hero, the 3 strength hero, Han Solo, my favorite character to come out of that trilogy. When Han Solo is played, move a bounty hunter to the hero side of the sector at any location except for Han Solo's location. And here our final fate card is Boba Fett's Restriction, and that is no disintegrations. Darth Vader's famous line towards Boba Fett. Boba Fett cannot take vanquish actions. No disintegrations is removed when Boba Fett pays 3 ambitions, so pretty easy restriction to get rid of, but Boba Fett does have to take those vanquish actions. Okay, we're starting off with Boba Fett's vehicle first, and that is the 3-cost Boba Fett's fire spray. I kind of wish it was called the Slave one, because that's what it was called in the show and stuff, and the movies. I don't know why it's called the fire spray. But its ability is you may choose to do 1 available action for any location. So, amazing ability. Especially since you're going to have a lot of bounty hunters on the top of your board and heroes on the top of your board. Boba Fett's fire spray is a really good ability, and it's his only vehicle, so I do recommend playing it. The actions themselves are 2 power, ambition, and play card. Okay, we're getting on to his first contact here, and that is actually the 2 ambition cost Darth Vader. You cannot use contacts to vanquish, and they can't be removed. Any bounty played to Darth Vader awards Boba Fett 5 ambition when a complete Darth Vader can hold 2 bounties. Okay, here we have our first effect card, and there is 2 copies of those. And it is called, I make my nose itch. That is called Waiting on the Next Job for 0 ambitions. Shuffle your discard pile back into your villain deck, draw 3 cards. I like to play this somewhere where I have a discard action, so pretty much I like to play this at Jabba's Palace, and I like to play it before the discard action. Okay, here we have our first ally, and that is the 4 power, 5 strength bounty hunter, Bosk. Boba Fett's strongest bounty hunter by far. Very good for killing Chewbacca. When used in a vanquish action, Bosk can divide his strength to vanquish multiple targets in the same location. Yeah, very good ally. Okay, here we have our first bounty, and this is actually my favorite bounty because it is very thematic, and for no ambition, you can play I Need Him Alive. This is the Han Solo one, so play to context, so I like to be thematic and play this the Jabba the Hutt. For 2 ambition, find Han Solo and place him at Cloud City Dining Hall. Now the progress is you first have to vanquish Han Solo. When you do that, you have to play Han Solo at Cloud City Dining Hall, then you have to defeat him, but you do not discard him. You maneuver him to Jabba's Palace. That's step 2. The final step to completing this bounty is to defeat Han Solo at Jabba's Palace. And when you do that bounty, you remove it, and whoever it's on gives you whatever your reward is. Okay, here we have our next contact, and that is the 1 ambition cost, Jabba the Hutt. Any bounty played to Jabba the Hutt awards Boba Fett 5 credits when complete. Jabba the Hutt can hold 2 bounties. I want to say, I was really upset with the first Star Wars set when Count Dooku was in Asajj Ventress's Fate deck, because then I was really upset that we probably wouldn't be able to play Count Dooku, and I really want Count Dooku in the game, but it shows that playable villains can be allies because Darth Vader is in the Nine Sisters Fate deck as an ally, so Darth Vader is a playable villain, and he's in another player's deck as an ally, so it shows that Count Dooku can still potentially be a playable villain, but he's the ally in 2 decks so far, so Count Dooku's getting a lot of stuff outside of being a playable villain. I just wish he was a playable villain. Okay, here we have our next effect card, and there is, let's see here, 2 copies. And this is how he's going to maneuver his bounty hunters the majority of the time, and that is the 0 ambition cost with me or against me. Maneuver a bounty hunter to either the hero or villain side of the sector at the same location, so pretty good card, especially if you need to, kill those heroes. Here you have our next bounty hunter, and that is 4 LOM, 2 power, 2 strength. If Zuckuss is in play, you may play 4 LOM for no cost. All heroes in play when 4 LOM is played get -1 strength. Let me just find Zuckuss to get him out of the way. Where is he at? Here's Zuckuss. Okay, we have the... Zuckuss, however, costs 4 power, so you're probably going to want to play 4 LOM first and then play Zuckuss for free, because they correlate. So if 4 LOM is in play, Zuckuss is free to play, but if Zuckuss is in play, then 4 LOM is free to play. But if Zuckuss gains +1 strength for every other bounty hunter in play. That's why he's more expensive, because Zuckuss is a lot better with the ability. Okay. So there's the 2 correlating bounty hunters out of the way. Here we have our next bounty. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save all the bounties for last. And just stick with the normal cards. Bounties have to be played from your hand. They do have this same back as the rest of the cards. So. Okay, here we have the 2 power cost, 3 strength bounty hunter Dengar. You gain 2 credits or 2 ambition when Dengar maneuvers from either side of the sector to the other. I don't know what it is about Boba Fett's deck, but all of his bounty hunters are like, they look painted. Like someone just painted a portrait of him. Okay, here we have his first condition, and there seems to be 3 copies of those. He's the only character where both of his conditions have 3 copies, and is 1 step ahead. During their turn, when another player collects ambition, you may play 1 step ahead, collect that much ambition, and an equal number of credits. So amazing way to stop the power struggle if you're running out of it. Here we have our next effect card, and that is 1, 2, 3 copies, and that is the 3 ambition cost working for the boss. Reveal cards until you find a bounty or a contact, play that card immediately for free. So you can get those bounties out pretty fast, but it is a costly 3 ambition, so it's definitely a card you want to probably discard, because, you know, all your bounties are free to play, spoiler alert, but if you're not finding any of them, I recommend playing it. Okay, here we have our final contact, the 0 ambition cost Bib Fortuna. Any bounty played to Bib Fortuna worth both at 2 credits, 1 ambition, and 2 cards. When complete, Bib Fortuna can only hold 1 bounty. Okay, here we have Boba Fett's other condition, and there's 3 of them, and it's remember where you came from. During their turn, when another player defeats a hero, you may play Remember Where You Came From and defeat a character of equal or lesser strength. Amazing condition, because most of Boba Fett's cards involve defeating those heroes. Okay, here you have our next bounty hunter. That is the 3 credit cost 4 strength IG-88. When IG-88 can be used in a vanquish action against a hero at any location, so he's a bigger buffer or a sing. So here we have his final bounty hunter, and that is Greedo. 1 power, 1 strength. Greedo cannot be played or maneuvered to the hero side of the sector. When a bounty hunter would be defeated or removed, you may pay 2 credits to discard Greedo instead. So, yeah. Let me see this. It said played or moved. Why is that confusing? Wait, when a bounty hunter can't be played or maneuvered to the hero side of the sector. The hero side of the sector. Is there a card that lets him play? Yeah, Greedo cannot be played or maneuvered to the hero side of the sector. Okay, these are his bounties. Oh. His bounties let him do that, okay. I was confused. It's like, I don't see any cards that let you just directly play a bounty hunter to the hero side of the sector. Okay, here we have his last 2 effects, and both of these effects only have 1 copy. And the first one is is for 2 ambition. You know who I am, right? Choose a hero and a bounty hunter, defeat one and remove the other. So very good if you don't have if you have a hero that you don't really need for a bounty on your board. Why is my fate deck all? Oh wait, no, that's my fault. Okay. His final one is probably his best effect card, and that's for 0 ambition, I Hunt Bounties. You can complete 1 bounty by paying 2 ambition, plus ambition equal to number of bounty hunters in play. So very costly, but very good way to get a free bounty. Not free, but kind of free. Okay, here we have his other 4 bounties. The first one we're going to start with is Revenge, the only bounty that I haven't completed, and that is play to a contact for 1 ambition, find and place a bounty hunter for no cost to the hero side of the sector. The progress is simply to defeat 3 bounty hunters. Okay, here we have his next one, the Search for the Rebels. So it's 0 ambition, all these are free. I'm just telling you, all these are 0 ambition. Play to a contact. For 3 ambition, find and place Luke Skywalker in R2D2. Progress. Have Darth Vader in play. Defeat R2D2. Defeat Luke Skywalker. See contact. Okay, next bounty is War of the Bounty Hunters. Oh, I don't know if I showed you a picture. Here's the picture. War of the Bounty Hunters. So, for 2 ambition, you can find Chewbacca, place him at Boba Fett's location. Progress. Have Jabba the Hutt in play. Defeat a bounty hunter. Defeat Chewbacca. See contact. And his final bounty is the Corellian job. For 1 ambition, find any bounty hunter put in your hand. Now you're going to want to use this for Bosk, because the progress is have Bosk in play at Corellia, which is your first location. Defeat a bounty hunter, pay 6 credits one time. See contact. Okay, and now let's get on to his board. So his first location is Corellia. So the top 2 actions are gain 1 power and play a card, the bottom 2 are vanquish and discard. At Executor Bridge, top 2 actions are play a card and fate, bottom 2 are gain 3 and ambition. At Cloud City Dining Hall, you have the top 2 actions are vanquish and ambition, the bottom 2 are maneuver and play a card. And at Jabba's Palace, the top 2 actions are gain 1 and discard, the bottom 2 are ambition and fate. Now getting on to Boba Fett's Villain Mover. Very nice Villain Mover. The Target exclusive version, it's not the best exclusive special Villain Mover that I've ever seen. I think it's more or less like a rusted Tatooine metals with the pieces, but here's the Villain Mover. And this mover is very simple, but also very complex. So it's just basically his body with his helmet and the jetpack on the back. Yeah, pretty much it. So if I had to say who's my favorite in the set, it's actually, I can't really choose. Now, all these characters have their flaws. Boba Fett's really messy and you won't always know what you need to do. The Knife Sister needs a lot of ambition, kind of falling into that Kylo Ren category, but she's like a lot better. And Cad Bane is just way too easy to win with. I can't actually choose who's my favorite now that I think about it, because I do like them all. But of course, Star Wars Villainous is just not my favorite of them, but all 3 of them are really solid. I'd say I probably like all of these characters in this set more than Moff Gideon, Kylo Ren, and Asajj Ventress, because there's one thing I definitely learned during my time playing Villainous, all those years that I've been playing Villainous, is that the future sets all but pretty much just improve on the core set. That's the thing with Marvel Villainous, that's the thing with Disney, unless you count Bigger and Badder, and Despicable Plots does too. Those are just the worst Villainous sets of all time, Despicable Plots and Bigger and Badder. Those sets are terrible. Well, Despicable Plots not so much. The Horned King sucks, Gaston is terrible, and Lady Tremaine is pretty okay. I used to really like playing Lady Tremaine. But Marvel Villainous, of course, there's the mediocre there's characters that I kind of see as like mediocre, just kind of boring, and that's Hela, Killmonger, and Taskmaster. Ultron's fun, but he's mind-numbingly easy to win with. And then Thanos is okay. The Loki set, MODOK's okay. Madame Mask is meh, and Loki's pretty fun. Venom's cool. Venom's pretty cool. And then, oh my god, Twisted Ambitions. That's probably just one of the best villainous sets of all time. All of them are fun to play. Titania's meh, but the rest of them. But yeah, that has been my unboxing of Star Wars Villainous, Scum, and Villainy. Tell me when you get this set. If you watch this video before getting the set, let me know in the comments down below what you think. Make sure to like and subscribe. It's not really asking that much to just like and subscribe. It's just a click of 2 buttons. I mean, what could go wrong, right? Help a man out who's, just unboxing board games on YouTube. But yeah, thank you everybody so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.